So I'm going to go through a very brief, extremely brief history of yoga. And Hinduism started with the Vedas. And that was an oral tradition. If you've ever been to India, you might have seen the Brahmin boys chanting the Vedas. Imagine if you were 9 years old and you were tasked with memorizing the Bible and chanting it every afternoon at the Aarti ritual. That's not what I wanted to do when I was 9, but there's this lineage of an oral tradition of the Vedas. And then after the Vedas comes the Upanishads, and I like to think of it as the way the Talmud is a commentary on the Torah. The Upanishads are a commentary on the Vedas. Upanishads means sitting close to, sitting by, and it's people discussing the Vedas. And then there's the Bhagavad Gita, and from that I take the fortune cookie, follow your Dharma. So why is that notion from Hinduism so important to us? Dharma is, on the macro level, how the universe is operating, right? And then on the micro level, it's your relationship to how the universe is operating. The best word in English I find to describe that is vocation. There's a band called U2, and the lead singer named himself Bono Vox, good voice. So voco is calling, like what is the universe calling you to do? Joseph Campbell famously said, follow your bliss. So the things that make you happy will tell you what you should be doing, whether it's art or music, or maybe your vocation is to be a parent, or to go hiking, or to play football. But you have to tune in to the information that you're receiving so that you know your relationship to the universe and how it's ordered. Now, in the book The How of Happiness by Sonja Lyubomirsky, she cites a German study that found that people who have jobs, which is something you do for money, are miserable. And people who have careers like engineering, doctor, lawyer, the same thing over 40 years, are slightly less miserable, but miserable nonetheless. And the only people who are happy are people who know their vocation, their calling. What are you doing on planet Earth? You are non-existent for billions of years. You're here for a very short period of time, and then you're going to be non-existent for an even longer infinite number of years. So, what is the universe calling you to do? Why are you here, right? This basic existentialism. And that is one of the questions that is answered through Hinduism. And there are 6 darshanas and viewpoints in Hinduism. It's similar to in Christianity, like Presbyterian or Protestantism, or Lutheran or Unitarian. But all of these darshanas answer similar questions. What is the nature of the divine? What is the nature of the individual soul? How was the world created? And how do we attain freedom, liberation, joy, happiness? So the first darshana is Samkhya, and the whole science of Ayurveda is based on that, Purusha, consciousness, and then how it manifests in the real world, which is Prakriti. And then the second one is yoga. So there's all different types of yoga. There's karma yoga, bhakti yoga. If you ever sit with Jayutal or Krishna Das, they practice bhakti yoga, devotional. There's tantra yoga, mantra yoga, hatha yoga. Ha is sun, ta is moon. So you're melding the opposites to unify and purify and cleanse the body. The third darshana is Nyaya, which is essentially defunct, but it's like an analytic philosophy. And then the last 3 darshanas are some form of Vedanta. So there's the Advaita Vedanta, which is dualistic. There's Vishishta Advaita Vedanta, which is qualified non-dualism. And there's Advaita Vedanta. And for our purposes, because I believe that yoga descends from Advaita Vedanta, that's what we're going to talk about today. So to explain Vedanta, Advaita Vedanta, there are 5 terms. The first one is Brahman, and The best translation I heard of that was from Barbara Holdridge at UCSB when she said, that without attributes. Meaning, if you can think it, it's not it. You know, it's infinite. It's beyond human consciousness. So it doesn't have any attributes. In some ways, you can use the analogy of the Matrix from the movie. But Brahman is a term, the everythingness of the universe, you know. And then the second term is Atman, which is usually translated in the original text with a capital S, self, higher self, I would say, or soul. And then the third term is samsara, which is the wheel of reincarnation. Only 25% of Americans believe in reincarnation, but Dr. Ian Stevenson at the University of Virginia documented thousands of cases of children who remember their past lives. And then there's karma, which, as you know, is the law of action and reaction. And then there's Maya, which is everything we perceive through our five senses and chunk into a narrative. A lot of people use the word illusion, but I don't like that. I like the word illusory because it kind of brings along the term ephemeral. Everything that you sense and feel and think is ephemeral. It's not going to be here tomorrow, right? So there's Brahman, Atman, Samsara, Karma, and Maya. And the tools of meditation and yoga were devised and designed to help you transcend Maya, go to the other side of your thoughts, so that you could realize that Atman equals Brahman. Your soul is really at one with God, the entire universe, but Maya obfuscates that and doesn't allow you to see that. So we meditate and practice yoga to realize, and in French it's better, réaliser. It connotates like to realize something is the second definition is to become one with. So we practice these tools of meditation and yoga, which I believe is a moving meditation, to help us transcend Maya, go to the other side of our thoughts so that we can realize our inner divinity, so that we can feel, so that we can taste something on the other side of language and our thoughts. All right, so that's Advaita Vedanta, and I believe that all of yoga that comes from that and is born from that. And there are such beautiful philosophical and poetic phrases from the Upanishads. I just pulled three of them today. The first one is neti neti, which is not this, not that. Again, if you can think it, it's not it, right? That without attributes. And the second one is tatvamasi, which means thou art that, or the famous book is I am that, or you are the universe, or you are God, or any way you want to phrase it, but tatvamasi.